Hello YouTube and welcome to today's stop motion review. Today we'll be taking a look at Netflix exclusive Megatron. Megatron comes in the final wave of Siege along with two Battle Masters to attempt to contrive a reason to justify this $40 price point. The figure comes in a box with some pretty standard nice artwork on the sides, the standard product shots, and even more artwork. That being said, let's take a look at the main event, Megatron himself. I've decided at this point in time I'm going to show the transformation into both modes in every review I do from this point on. The reason for this is that I thought my original Siege Megatron had a defect where the ankle tilt was on backwards, and I forgot to rotate the waist and the thighs, and the fact that for some inexplicably stupid reason no one else does it. Taking a look at Megatron in his robot mode, this guy is an absolute stunner. His accessories include his fusion cannon, which isn't really an accessory as much as just a necessary appendage, and his stupidly super long death sword. He also comes with Lionizer in his blindingly harsh orange bright color scheme from Generation 1, but really resembles more of Generation 2. I'm thinking of swapping the black legs on the original to break out the monochromatic look. The stupidity behind this mold is that the sword comes with clear plastic on the handle, which is a really stupid idea, as the stress marks from the friction will inevitably break off someday. Pinpointer comes in a monochromatic red and barely has any paint on him. The version of this that comes with the Slantance and G2 Sideswipe 3-pack looks so much better, and it really sucks that they didn't do more with the molding and paint. The $40 price point on the figure is really questionably justified by the Target Masters alone, but I really believe the reasoning behind this is the licensing for Netflix on the box. This thing product places us harder than Age of Extinction with Netflix thrown all over the damn place. Taking a look deeper at Megatron himself, this figure comes with a much more premium shiny silver along with some actually decent battle damage applications. They're only painted on, but they look convincing enough to me. I think this is what Siege really should have been to begin with. The audacity to add real battle damage with a 50% price increase with the shitty battle damage on the original is really showing some sketchy behavior from Hasbro. I'm not saying that deluxes are going to go up to $30, but I'm sick of not having real chunky leader-sized figures that are marked up simply because they're Voyagers with some accessories. Other than that, Megatron includes the most perfect head sculpt of any Megatron I think we have ever gotten. I hate to say it, but this head sculpt has a one-up on the Masterpiece to me, being a lot more serious and less cartoony. The worn-out gray and black on his legs is probably the best part of the paint scheme in my opinion, as it looks really genuine. Onto his articulation, he includes a rotating head, shoulder rotation and outwards movement, bicep bend and rotation, waist rotation, universal hips for forwards and outwards movement, thigh rotation, knee bend, and ankle tilt. His articulation allows for some standard issue Voyager posability, with some also pointing and shooting shots, supervillain posing, using his captives as weapons, and a variety of other dynamic poses. His joint balance is actually really good, but some parts feel a smidge weak. The ankle problem on my original figure that they were way too hollow and loose, this figure actually manages to remedy pretty well. It doesn't feel like they put any pins or anything like that into the ankles, but they did tighten the connection up a little bit. The shoulder stacks from Tank have to be folded down to allow the shoulders to move all the way out, and it leaves these tiny little shoulder spikes that mildly annoy me for some reason. Minus that, this guy poses like a complete Chad, and I do love him a lot. So anyways, on to transformation number 1. Fold up the shoulder stacks, straighten the arms, and rotate the fists in. Rotate the fusion cannon, fold up the tank treads, and open them up. Fold down the back flap between the treads, rotate the shoulders in the back, then accordion them the front of the tank in. Spin the waist 180 degrees, fold in the feet, split apart the legs, and open them up. Bend in the thighs, rotate the hips, close off the tank, and slide the sword into the front to form the turret, and there you have Megatron in his tank mode. This tank mode looks absolutely killer. The gun's huge, and even from the sides it looks like it's a killer war machine ready to blow you off the face of Cybertron. If you choose to, you can also add the blast effect parts that come with this figure, which include 2 Christmas light razors, as they call them, and the swooshy sword effect. These effect parts are an absolute godsend idea from Hasbro that I think we all wanted for some time, but these blast effect pieces definitely aren't for me. They're a ton of fun and really help to add to the weight of my animations, but the pink Christmas-like look to them really isn't great. As I said, this line is practically a love letter to stop-motion animators. The tank turret somehow manages to have a full 360 degrees of turret rotation, while also keeping waist rotation in robot form. It doesn't move up or anything, but that isn't the worst thing in the world to me. There really isn't much to say about the tank mode. It's really good looking, and it just does what it needs to do. Let's get him back into his robot form. Remove the sword, unclip and open up the legs, then rotate them out. Close up the legs, bring them together, and open up the heel and toe. Rotate the waist 180, accordion up the front of the tank, bring the arms forward and fold up the back flap. Rotate the tank treads in, fold down the backpack, fold down the fusion cannon, open up the fists, fold down the shoulder stacks, and there you have Megatron back in his robot mode. This figure is a total stunner in my opinion, and is really actually kind of worth a $40 price point. He normally goes for $30 being a Voyager, but the Micromasters probably added on top of the licensing fees for about $10. I think this figure shows the struggles of the design teams being put on such a limited budget, but being expected to produce budget market masterpieces with immaculate paint schemes, amazing articulation, and milking as much as they can out of what the buyer gets. But I can also feel like Hasbro isn't giving us the full package on the average retail releases. They keep skyrocketing the prices and using accessories as excuses to go and get us to buy the same figure over and over again with a slightly different and slightly more premium paint scheme, and I feel like they're really stretching out whether or not it's worth it. I believe this one is worth it because of how much better the paint scheme is on top of the 2 welcome accessory pieces. All in all, it's a nice figure that somehow feels on the nose, but I would buy it anyways. It's a good solid quality figure with well balanced joints, good articulation, and a nice premium paint scheme that we should have gotten to begin with the $30 Voyager version of this figure. This has been the Stop Motion Reviewer on Netflix exclusive Megatron. Transform and roll out, you magnificent bastards.